Irish Guy, and this is the Prem catch-up, looking at every Premier League result from the weekend. Let's see the nuttiness that unfolded. And thankfully, Everton are not playing until tonight, so fingers crossed, right? I mean, we all want them to win and climb themselves out of the relegation zone, right? So that I don't have to do another milky shower, right? Ah, no, you know, I'd love to see me drawing a Cocoa Pops. By the way, still no announcement as to who the next Ireland manager is. It should be any day now, but honestly, when that news breaks, if it's not Lee Carsley, tune in to see what I think. I've got some things to say. Right, let's go. Oh, I'm due 2 forfeits from last week, right? One was squirting Lucozade in my face. My jumper on! And the other, I have to get in a bin filled with coffee. Weird.
This is a big bin of coffee. Oh my, if this falls over, I'm dead. Oh, no! I'm gonna fall over. I know I am.
This is so weird. I'm actually standing in a bin full of coffee. This is so incredibly weird. Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 2. Yeah, this was a crazy second half. Lads, this was yet another mental match at St James's Park that Newcastle failed to win. Honestly, in the last few weeks, their stupidly impressive home form. Oh, I nearly slipped out of the bucket. Oh, lads, I'm nearly slipping out of this bin. But lads, Newcastle's stupidly impressive home form has started to dissipate into the wind. St James's Park is no longer looking like an impenetrable fortress. Now it's about as imposing as some fisherman's shed. I need to ask anyhow, why? Why does he constantly persist with Dan Burn? This is a clumsy centre-back who's been ripped to absolute shreds over the past month. There almost seems to be some sort of ghost at St James's Park that just plays pranks on the squad by controlling one defender for a month over Christmas. Kieran Trippier had been affected by the bug, and yeah, looks so incredibly error-prone. He was playing like someone who just eaten too many hamburgers the night before, and now Burn, every week he's getting targeted at left back, and right now, he just cannot handle fast right wingers. He can handle fast right wingers about as well as I can handle being told to eat cement bricks for breakfast, or, you know, trying to keep my balance in a bucket of coffee. Lads, make no mistake, right now, I am very scared to move. Over the last month, Julius Benny, Anthony Elanga, and now Antoine Semenyo have absolutely ripped him to shreds. Lads, Bournemouth's opening was a goalkeeping howler. One of the biggest mistakes in Premier League history. Martin Dubravka receives a back pass, takes a touch, and then falls over. Yeah, Loris Karius was sitting on the bench and probably did a mini fist bump to himself. Finally, he gets to witness another goalie embarrass himself in front of the watching world. But Newcastle soon win a penalty. Wrongly, by the way, because yes, Fabian Schär had his shirt tugged in the box, but he was offside anyway. No matter, Anthony Gordon dispatches this. Fine, Newcastle are in the ascendancy. Go and get the winner then. No, because don't forget, Dan Burn. These days, that man is about as useful as a Rice Krispie bun that's actually filled with many chunks of sheep poo. Semenyo gets the ball, and Burn shows that he is about as scared as me. When I'm asked if I want to shower with my gran, he backs off, giving Semenyo the freedom of Newcastle to fire into the bottom corner. Finally gets immediately taken off and replaced by Tino Livramento. Yes, I'd imagine being immediately whipped off the pitch after a mistake is a horrible place to be. He did not get a standing ovation. Nothing. In fact, I'm sure there were some Geordies who had to resist chucking Maltesers at his head. But can this finally be the end of the Burn experiment? Can Livramento now start every match at left back? Because I'm telling you, if Howe actually asks Burn to mark Bukayo Saka this weekend, maybe then I will start to question whether the Geordie defender really does have some compromising secret photos of Howe eating pizza in the nude whilst watching that awful movie Cats. Maybe there is a huge Hollyoaks-esque blackmail plot. That is the reason why Burn keeps getting picked. But lads, the weirdest part about this whole match was that Matt Ritchie scored an injury time equalizer. Ritchie? What? This is someone whose entire family apparently still lives in Bournemouth. Was he's been in Newcastle for nearly 8 years? So, what? He just has a marriage on Skype? His wedding arrangement must be about as weird as Will Smith's. This is someone who's hugely linked with the return to Bournemouth. As far back as 2020, he hasn't scored a goal in 4 years. Even seeing him in a Newcastle shirt now at the age of 34, it looks weird. It's been like Christopher Nolan choosing to cast some past it has been actor like Tobey Maguire in Oppenheimer 2. I'm as shocked as anyone that he's still there. 3 years ago, he was apparently calling Steve Bruce a coward in training. Yeah, tell anybody that he'd still be at Newcastle when they're in the Champions League. There would have been more chance of Ritchie giving birth to a penguin.
We have been told that Bruce was shoulder barging into Ritchie, but the player did not retaliate physically. The 6-year-old was allegedly infuriated by Ritchie calling him a coward and said to him, "After all I've done for you."
Bruce had a point. Since Howe came to Newcastle, this was the 10th time Ritchie was coming on as a sub in the final minute of the match. One was in a cup final. He must be so sick of that. It's almost insulting to a degree. It's been like some weird bloke who works at the cinema, only letting you in to watch the final minute of the film. I don't want want to see the final minute of Saltburn, thanks. Especially not when I'm trying to tuck into a sausage sandwich that I just bought from Greg's. Bear in mind, immediately before the takeover, Richie played all 90 minutes in the club's first 12 matches of the season at left back. He was one of the first names on the team sheet under Bruce. He really should have shown that coach some more respect, because Eddie is supposed to be his ex-Bournemouth mate, right? Sorry, Matt, but clearly Eddie rates you about as much as he rates a lump of dog poo on his rug. At least Bruce was picking him every week. How actually isn't all that blindingly loyal to his former Bournemouth comrades at all. Ryan Fraser and Matt Ritchie, unbelievable players for him on the coast, but who barely got a kick under him up north. And even Callum Wilson is mostly shoved on the bench. Despite his nice guy exterior, Eddie is actually ruthless. He doesn't pick his favorites, so can someone please explain to me just what is Byrne blackmailing him with? But what's even stranger than all that is that this is actually the second time that Ritchie has scored a 94th minute equaliser for Newcastle in a 2-2 draw with Bournemouth. He did exactly this at the Cherries ground in 2019 too. That's weird, right? Imagine those poor Cherries fans heading up to Newcastle. That is a 15-hour round trip on the bus. To have made this 3 p.m. kickoff, they will have needed to leave the house at 5:30 in the morning. They won't have got back home until 1 a.m. with their lasting memory of this match being watching a former player, somebody who they've been linked with signing for years, watching him just cost them 2 priceless points, and he celebrated too, running off to kick the corner flag. Honestly, Cherries, ouch. Tottenham 1, Wolves 2. Play the clip.
Tottenham 2, Wolves 1. Let's prove it. If Wolves win this match, then I will drag my couch into a field and just spend 3 hours sitting on it. That sounds really boring.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to bring my couch to the field. But lads, you will see the clip. I will prove this to you, okay? I was playing in a competitive game of football yesterday, and I went past 4 players. I was about to score a Hanif Arfa-esque wonder goal, and then I was chopped down by this big gargoyle of a centre-back. Honestly, there was a camera filming the game, so in a couple of weeks, I'm going to have footage, and I'll show you on this channel. But I am lucky not to have a broken leg. That defender, what an absolute turkey. So as you can imagine right now, my knee is very sore. I cannot lift any couches. I can barely lift a box of cereal, but I would say second half of this week, yes, I will do the couch forfeit in the field. But right now, I cannot lift it. I can barely walk. And you will soon see that horror tackle. I will upload it on this channel. It was dreadful. But back to the video. How do Wolves keep doing this? I am furious. I'm actually pretty apoplectic. I said Wolves will finish bottom of the league. And yeah, they are making me look like an absolute mug. I said that O'Neill will be some bang average sludge pipe of a coach. This season, they've done the double over both Chelsea and Tottenham. Oh yeah, and beaten Man City. What is going on? Sheffield United 0, Brighton 5. On the face of it, this is garbage. This was the 5th separate Premier League match this season where Sheffield United have lost by more than 5 goals. The others coming in against Newcastle, Arsenal, Burnley and Aston Villa. This was the 2nd successive home match in the Premier where they lost 5-0. This was the 3rd home game in a row where they conceded 5 goals. Brighton have now turned up to Bramall Lane twice in the last 3 weeks and have been allowed to net a combined 10 goals. Actual 10. Make no mistake, this is a revolting disgrace. I haven't seen a Premier League team get slapped up on such a regular basis since Derby County in 2008. An absolutely wretched, horrible, pathetic team. By the end of the season, their manager, Paul Jewell, looked like he wanted to strap every single one of his players to a rocket ship and send them to the moon. And you know what's really weird? The manager of the Premier League's worst ever team, his son, is now the director of recruitment at Brighton. That's really weird. I mean, after that secret videotape of Jewel was released on the internet, I'm surprised the rest of his children didn't all then wind up in a mental asylum. To be fair, Derby were worse, but it is hard to imagine a worse team than the Blades right now. But ever since Chris Wilder took this job, the Blades really do remind me of Derby, especially for the final 2 months of that season, where they were a demoralized, disinterested, embarrassed bunch of cabbages who had no pride and had clearly given up. From March 12th to May 11th, they picked up 1 point from 10 matches and conceded 6 on 3 separate occasions, 2 of them being at home. This from Sheffield United is similarly pathetic. It's grim, it's horrible, it's awful, but I'm going to give them a slight pass this week. And instead, I have to say that Mason Holgate is an absolute disgrace. This is a team who are coming up against a possession-heavy Brighton side. A team who stuck 5 past them in the FA Cup last month. What you cannot do is go down to 10 men. Absolutely not. Doing that against this Brighton team is a bit like me agreeing to brush a hungry lion's teeth at the zoo. I'll be doing the next video missing a large chunk of my brain. But Holgate, this is someone who, don't forget, has lost 5-0 on 2 different debuts this season. For Southampton in September and Sheffield earlier this month. This is someone who spent 18 games of his first half of the season loan spell at Southampton, absolutely rotting on the bench like a lump of dog food tasting chewing gum. He should be thanking his lucky stars that he is somehow playing week in, week out in the Premier League when he's clearly Rotherham standard. But choosing to aim a crazy tackle like Karuma Thomas knee, it was like the tackle I sustained yesterday. You would swear he was trying to snap the Japanese winger like a Twix. The tackle is so far off the ground. And to me, the most worrying sign for Blades fans is that there's no accountability in the squad. His defensive teammate Anil Amazodzic actually came out trying to defend the tackle in the media, saying it wasn't a red card, that it was a fair tackle, and that the referee spoiled the game. I'm sorry, what? That's like watching your weird, creepy neighbor just shamelessly eating his puppy in the garden, and you just try to excuse it by saying,
"Oh, well, in his defense, his dog does look a bit like a salty hamburger."
No! Holgate! He has only had 2 games so far at Bramall Lane, and the club have lost both matches 5-0. He contributed to the first one by defending like a blind badger, yes, but at least he played. At least he tried. This to destroy your club's entire afternoon by getting brainlessly sent off after 13 minutes. I mean, if I was a plumber at Bramall Lane, I would have probably just turned off the water and just forced the bloke to get showered in the McDonald's bathrooms across the road, just helplessly scrubbing his armpits with a damp towel. Man City 1, Chelsea 1. Play the clip.
Man City 3, Chelsea 0. There is a huge gulf in class between both teams, that is obvious. So yeah, just a very easy 3-0 win. And to prove it, for every goal that Chelsea scored, then I will smear an entire jar of marmalade in my hair.
Thanks, Sterling! Ah, thank you so much, Raheem Sterling. Oh, City couldn't keep a clean sheet. No, of course not. That would be too much to ask. Definitely don't keep a clean sheet to the team sitting 10th in the league. No, not City. No. They like to keep a clean sheet in every game, but the Chelsea won. Of course. Do I look pretty? Thank you, Raheem Sterling, popping up to absolutely wreck the script by scoring against his former club at the stadium where he was devastating for so many years. Honestly, the disrespect Sterling has received over the years.
Oh, his finishing has always been terrible. He only scored tap-ins that were laid on for him at a play at the Etihad.
Oh yeah, and how many tap-ins has Jack Grealish scored? How about Jeremy Doku? Oh, that's right, 2 Premier League goals. Sterling scored 91 Premier League goals for City, 131 in all comps. You don't sit joint 20th in the all-time Premier League top scorers chart with 121 goals if you're a bad finisher. You don't score 9 more goals than Ian Wright in this league if you're a bad finisher. You don't score 15 plus more goals than Didier Drogba and Cristiano Ronaldo if you're a bad finisher. Nonsense. And this is a great finish. Chelsea catches City on the break, and they had their chance to make it 2-0, but didn't quite hold up for the win. Rodri equalizes, and yes, Erling Haaland had a game from hell. This is drop points for City, but for those who say it's no longer in their hands, that's not quite true. Yes, if they win their game in hand, they'll be a point behind Liverpool, but it's still the same. If City win their remaining games, they win the league. I don't think this is panic stations for City at all. Burnley 0, Arsenal 5. Oh, lads, again, I am really starting to lose my balance as the longer this video goes on. I just know this is going to fall. But Burnley, this makes me sad. Vincent Kompany is having an absolutely humiliating season, getting absolutely crushed each and every week. I just feel bad for the bloke. He was a certified world-class legendary centre-back who would never have defended anywhere near as badly as this, not even if he had turned up to training drunk and with 4 broken toes. The small little glimmer of positivity amongst the staff would be that Craig Bellamy is finally having his last laugh. Remember when he was forced to step down from his role in disgrace as Cardiff City under-18s coach amidst reports of bullying? This is somebody who had dreams of becoming the Wales manager, and yet after that high-profile investigation, which was an absolute media storm, which even stopped him doing his Sky Sports punditry, the man had basically been cancelled. People were calling him a horrible bully who had no place in management. Bear in mind, this was a world where Joey Barton was a manager. I mean, to me, any disgruntled mum complaining because this man shouted at her son, it's Craig Bellamy. It's old school management. Brian Clough, he once punched Roy Keane in the face. And you know what? Keane respected him for it. So yeah, to see him stepping in for the suspended Kompany in the dugout and actually managing in a Premier League match 4 years after being cancelled in youth football. Oh, I bet he'll have enjoyed that one. But again, no, this performance was a disgrace from Burnley. But Arsenal are in scary form. Tell me a team in Premier League history that have had a scarier month than the Gunners. Since their Christmas blip, they've had 5 league games, 5 wins, by an aggregate score of 21-2. On the last 2 away trips, they scored 11 without reply, and they also slapped up Liverpool at home. Is this the scariest month any Premier League team have ever had? Let me know in the comments. Has there been a better one than this? Luton Town 1, Manchester United 2. Play the clip.
Luton Town 1, Man United 5. A Marcus Rashford hat-trick and goals from Kobe Mainoo and Rasmus Højlund. Or something like Carlton Morris bundling in a late consolation. Sorry, but Man United winning this match and with ease.
This is annoying. This weekend, I predicted Luton Town to concede 5 goals on their own turf. No, of course not. No, instead, they were the only newly promoted club not to concede 5 goals at home. Of course, because heaven forbid, I would actually get a prediction correct. So annoying. The other 2 newly promoted clubs, of course, yes, they'll take an absolute beating on their own ground and humiliate themselves in front of their fans, but not little old Luton. Oh no, that would be far too much to ask, right? Lads, things started so well. Manchester United were 2-0 up after 7 minutes. Rasmus Højlund did both, taking advantage of a horrible back pass to stick them 1-0 up after 37 seconds, before impudently and nonchalantly chesting in the ball, which I don't really think I've seen in a Premier League match since Mario Balotelli did it. I even said Carlton Morris would get on the score sheet, and he did after 14 minutes. So there was so much time for this to wind up being a 5-1 match. But no, instead, Man United missed their chances. Several times they had a one-on-one with Thomas Kraminski, where if they had just chipped the ball over to him, it would have been a certain goal. I mean, lads, did nobody see what Darwin Núñez did against Brentford? At the risk of sounding like a clinically obese bloke hastily ordering his breakfast at McDonald's, but chip! Oh, wow, I nearly fell there. Oh no, I'm rocking in the coffee. Look, Luton battled and tried to nick a point. Ross Barkley even grazed the crossbar in the final minute. I mean, to be fair, that's not a total shock. I mean, crossbar is practically in his name. But you know what? I enjoyed the strange punditry team for this one. You had experienced media mogul Jimmy Redknapp, who's been doing this punditry thing for a solid 20 years, but alongside him, recovering Luton captain Tom Lockyer, an absolute raw media newbie who had probably never even held a mic outside of a karaoke bar, and in the middle, Curtis Davies. What? Where did you dig him up from? Why is a 38-year-old Cheltenham Town centre back on my TV doing punditry for a Prem match? I mean, he's somebody who used to play for Luton, yes, but he quit them when he was 20, joining West Brom in 2005. He's not exactly a Luton Town legend, is he? Davies is an English centre-back with the Ireland FAI. We're sniffing around as far back as 2007. I mean, he didn't link up with us, instead trying in vain to get an England team. But yeah, I mean, he finally did make his international debut 4 months ago for Sierra Leone at 38. That's weird. But it's a great Man United win, and Højlund is an absolute fire. Remember when he scored against Aston Villa after Christmas? And the narrative was that now that he had ended his drought, he would now kick on. Boy, has he. 7 goals and 2 assists in 6 league games. He's now got 13 goals in 30 games in his debut season at Old Trafford. Yeah, I mean, Wayne Rooney scored 17 goals in 43 games in his debut year at Old Trafford, when he was in a much better team. I know Højlund is a couple of years older, but still, well done. Nottingham Forest 0, West Ham 2. I thought West Ham would have a response to that horrible 6-0 defeat at Arsenal. No, there's a horribly demoralising defeat. Calvin Phillips was also sent off, compounding the horrible, miserable start to his life at West Ham. Just like Holgate, I think Phillips might be on his way, just being a forgettable lone flop. Brentford 1, Liverpool 4. Play the clip.
Brentford 1, Liverpool 3. If Brentford do get a result against Liverpool, then I will need a sandwich filled with mud.
I was so close. I want to get a correct scoreline this week. I said Brentford would lose 3-1. Imagine my excitement when I see Ivan Toney scoring a consolation goal in 75 minutes to make it 3-1. I was so close. But no, instead my fellow Irishman Nathan Collins has to ruin the fun by absolutely horrifically messing up at the back to let Cody Gakpo net a 4th. Prediction ruined. Fulham 1, Aston Villa 2. Play the clip.
Fulham 2, Aston Villa 2. Goals from Richie Muniz, John McGinn, Ollie Watkins, and then in the final minute, an absolute Willian screamer.
I was close. I was so close. I said this would be a 2-2 draw, with Willian scoring a screamer for Fulham in the last minute, but I was robbed of that reality because Marco Silva stupidly dragged him off at half time. So no, Villa instead win 2-1. Anyway, that's it, and I've survived. I've survived trying to keep my balance in this coffee thing has been so horrible and so weird, but I've done it. I've done it. I'll show you now. I have actually done it, and oh wow, this is horrible. Oh no, okay. All right. Here I go. I get to stand out. And I've done it. I've done it. I have survived. I have oh!